I found there's a certain kind of quiet in rural America. I love the long stretches of pine trees, no cell signal, no neighbors for miles. A place where you can disappear, where people go to start over, off the grid. I get the appeal. Hell, I've wanted to disappear myself sometimes. But lately, a few folks in the hills of northern Arkansas, they're not just looking to disappear, they're building something. It's not a farm, not a retreat, something more deliberate, more dangerous. Now, let me show you what's happening and what it really means. Back in June, NBC News started digging into a strange real estate project out in the Ozarks. It was marketed as a homesteading opportunity. Buy a few acres, raise your kids close to the land, get away from the chaos of modern society. You've heard the pitch before, by libertarians, preppers, off-the-gridders. Nothing new there. But this time, the sales weren't coming from some real estate firm or Back to the Land eco group. They were coming from Kyle Chapman, a former Proud Boy and far-right street brawler who became internet famous after beating protesters with a wooden club in Berkeley. Chapman's new project? A community called Return to the Land. Plots of land passed between families and allies through private telegram groups and invitation-only forums. NBC reporters found that Chapman's buyers weren't your average off-the-grid hippies. They included former Proud Boys, January 6 participants, and white nationalist influencers. They found private posts and group chats planning infrastructure, solar power, livestock, armed patrols. And they spoke in euphemisms, shared culture, like-minded values, strong Christian roots. But here's the thing about dog whistles. Once you've heard enough of them, you can hear the whole damn tune. These weren't just libertarian landowners. They were building a community, and it's not for everyone. Because Return to the Land is a whites-only compound. That's what the NBC investigation uncovered. A deliberate, coordinated effort to create a white nationalist enclave in the American South. Buyers were vetted, not just on finances, but on ideology. There were posts about rejecting diversity agendas, fears about racial dilution, and dreams of creating a safe space for white families. Internal chats show members discussing how to exclude people of color without triggering lawsuits. HOA clauses about cultural fit, flags and signage meant to intimidate, and codes of conduct rooted in so-called traditional values. They aren't trying to blend in. They're trying to wall off. Not just their land, but their entire way of life. NBC's team confirmed that dozens of acres have already been sold. Homes are being built, families are moving in. This is happening now in America. And unless someone's got a search warrant or a news crew, no one's keeping track. You want to know how movements like this grow? Not just through rallies, not just through hashtags. They grow in the woods, in back roads and hollers and valleys where no one's watching. They grow in silence. This is what radicalization looks like when it grows up. It puts down roots, it buys property, it files LLC paperwork and builds a town. A whites-only town. And the scariest part, it's legal. We've got a government that jumps at shadows on social media, but lets organized hate build a zip code. This is infrastructure, ideology, and intent. I've been on the other side of barricades made out of bodies and rage. I've seen what happens when we ignore the signs. And I'm telling you, this is a sign. So don't look away. Don't wait for it to show up on your doorstep. Because by then, it's too damn late. I'm Michael Fanone. Thanks for watching.